Hello there again, Billy Ho Sports with another preview for the big Belmont weekend at Saratoga. This one goes back to Friday night, and it's going to be the big New York Stakes Grade 1 mile and a 16th on the turf, fillies and mares, 4 years old and up. We have a large field of 13 horses to cover, so I'm not going to plug too much. I just ask that you please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so and smash that like button. Leave me a comment if you have questions or hot takes or any kind of significantly cool bets for this race, because this is wide open, strong field. Let's get into it. Real quick for the weather update. Maybe I did jump the shark. It looks like we're going to dodge a bullet. Today was supposed to be the heaviest day. I still think they're going to get a big shower spell this afternoon. Some severe weather, might be delays. I don't know what's going to happen this afternoon, but it looks like they're going to dodge a bullet for the most part, because the weather system is more to the north of Saratoga than it previously looked like. So marginal rain for the rest of the weekend looks pretty good, but I still think we're going to have soft conditions, especially on the grass, and that's what we're going to be covering in this race. So I may be doing some last minute updates over the next couple of days in some of the earlier races this week, so stay tuned for that. Stick around at the end. We're going to have selections. We're going to do past performances. We're going to show a few races. We're going to lump the horses that ran versus each other recently together, so that way we can be more organized in our show here. So we're going to start at the top. Number one, McCulloch, and that's trained by Chad Brown, ridden by Irad Ortiz. And you can't dismiss Chad Brown with a filly, especially a turf, fillies, anything turf related. Chad Brown rocks. He's at his home. He's ready to go for this weekend. This one ran fourth in the Sheep Shed Stakes at Aqueduct. Previously won the Grade 3 Orchid at Gulfstream Park. She also finished third in this race last year when it was at Belmont. She also has a win at the Saratoga track going 12 furlongs. So number one, McCulloch is one to be looked at. Now we're going to jump up to the number 11 horse, Star Fortress, who's trained by Sherry DeVoe, and just missed in the Sheep Shed Bay. She came from back of the pack. She's a quality Grade 3 winner, but she's yet to break through versus the tougher competition. Number 12 is Royalty Interest. Chad Brown is the trainer, and Eric Cancel will ride, another Chad Brown horse. 4-year-old filly, back-to-back wins, including this Sheep Shed Bay, where she was able to get up and hang on. She took the lead and held on late, but I don't know if she's going to be able to do that at this track. Coming along nicely this year, but she does have her work cut out for her. So that's number 12, Royalty Interest. Number 2 is English Rose, and that is the big Godolphin entry. Charlie Appleby trains. William Buick will ride. Love William Buick on the turf. She was unable to run down Butte Catchy in the Jenny Wiley, but she is going second off that layoff, and also her second on American turf. She's impeccably bred horse, tons of potential. Probably going to be your betting favorite, since she actually, her main rival hasn't raced this year. She has one under her belt already. So next up is Didia, and that's Ignacio Correas. Jose Ortiz rides right behind English Rose on that Jenny Wiley race. And she had a huge victory back in January in the Pegasus World Cup at Gulfstream. She's now a 6-year-old mare, only been off the board 3 times in 16 career starts. And I'm really going to break some people's hearts with my selections later on. So stay tuned. Number 4 is Aspen Grove. Jack Sisterson. Tyler Gaffleone will ride. The Justify filly has one Grade 1 victory as a 3-year-old. Most of her efforts in this type of field haven't been really stellar. Her third in the Modesty on Oaks Day was a very troubled trip, but she did rally up for third. on the yielding turf. Number 9 is Sparkling Blue, and that's Graham Motion. Jorge Ruiz will ride, was second in that Modesty Stakes, and the winner of the Hillsborough at Tampa previous to that. The Tampa win was kind of odd because nobody wanted to lead. She's normally a closer. She took the lead and wired the field at an extremely slow pace. Uh, then that brings us to number 13. Surprisingly, this is Todd Pletcher, trained. Flavian Pratt rides. She's been beaten by several in this race recently in the last three. But the back-to-back second places are pretty good. She had an extremely troubled trip in the Modesty as well. She ran into horses on the very first turn and then had to be checked up and rerouted. But then she was just too far back, but she did rally up pretty good in the end. Number 5 is American Sonia. That is Joseph O'Brien. That is Joseph Patty O'Brien, the son of Aidan O'Brien, world famous trainer overseas. Really likes how this filly has improved, and with his successful second place here at this distance last summer, he likes his chances. I kind of do too. I'm kind of warming up to her. She's coming off a win at Longchamp in France, going 10 furlongs, and you got Frankie Dettori aboard, so you know he's looking for the flying dismount. Number 7 is Fev Rover. Mark Cassey trains this 6-year-old mare, faded badly in the filly mare turf at Santa Anita in the fall. She was third last year in the Diana at Saratoga and beat Gina Romantica in the Beverly D at Colonial after that. Tough ask for her first start of the year. So that's number 6. This is number 7. Or let's see. Yeah. I'm a bit out of order. That was Fev Rover, but this is Nisi Marie. Sneak attack winner of that Bogey Stakes, flying down the stretch late. You don't even see her in the picture. It just looks like White Beam's getting ready to put his inside rival away, and or her inside rival away. And then here comes Nisi Marie to steal the show. That's trained by Robert Reed. Joel Rosario will once again ride her. Next up is Be Your Best, Horatio De Paz, Kendrick Carmouche, trainer jockey combo. Roller coaster career, but does have a couple of good second place finishes. Del Mar Oaks, American Oaks, shows she can pop in the right spot. 4th in the Buena Vista most recently. And now we have the 10 Warlike Goddess. This is Belmont, Junior Alvarado, jockey trainer combo, making her 2024 debut. But last we saw her was a rough 7th place finish in the Breeders' Cup. Very strong effort, though. Was the widest of the 11-horse field. Came from dead last, but then ran into a wall of horses. And by the time she got clear, she had plenty of run left, but a shorter Santa Anita stretch. She just couldn't get there. So that's your field. Let's take a look at the past performances, and then we'll finalize some selections. Okay, first of all, we are going a mile and 3/16 on the turf here. So grade 1, New York Stakes. I hope you all like the thumbnail in the background. I really did a good job on that one. I'm kind of patting myself on the back a little bit there. Anyway, McCulloch, interesting horse, does like to be close to the lead. I think that she'll be there. She's actually sired by the same horse, Frankel, as English Rose, which everybody's talking about how well bred English Rose is. The second in the Jenny Wiley, like we discussed. I think these top 3 horses are all going to be wanting to push for the lead. As you can see, the speed figures, 90s and 91s. There are a few horses, and McCulloch, for one, has run a couple of triple-digit Brisnet speed figures, which is interesting. English Rose probably going to be out front. She likes to be early speed. So does Didia, but you can see hers. She's actually sub 90 in her last 2, even though she won this race here. And then previous to that, she does have some hundreds down here as well. So that New York, there's the New York I was telling you about, where she ran second to market segmentation. and did beat McCulloch as well. So she's capable, obviously. Uh, but that was at Belmont. She doesn't have Saratoga experience. Just by the way. So next up, Aspen Grove does have Saratoga experience. Didn't fare very well. This was a grade one Saratoga Derby. She ran fifth. It was a yielding track, and it was program trading, web slinger, far bridge, and she was fractious in the gate. So I'm not going to hold that against her. This is a very interesting horse. She's sired by Justify, and you can see she's ninth in the prime power. And I can't recall the odds, but I want to say like 15-1 morning line. So I'm pretty sure that she's going to be good value somewhere in that range. And I think that she was crowded in this Modesty Stakes on the inside number two and bumped around, but she was up for third as well, rallying good. So sneaky horse here, I think. American Sonia, this is the one from Joseph O'Brien, and does have the second place finish back in August at Saratoga on a soft track. So if we do get soft grass, she can run, and she's a good stalking style, 99 speed rating. Just won this Longchamp racetrack, the Prix Alice France by Longines. That's a grade three, I guess, for the French. And then you got Fev Rover, like I said, hasn't raced in 7 months. That's tough. She had a hard time. She just didn't fire at all. Wasn't there in that race at the Breeders' Cup. So I'm probably going to have to see one from Fev beforehand. Although she has shown, if you look down here, she was off from October 22 to July 23, and she fired in the Nassau Grade 2. So I don't really know how tough, yielding turf as well, just FYI. So I don't know what to think of her. I'm not really sure how the competition she faced, Moria and Millie Girl back then, but did run a 101, has run a 102. She's a grade one winner. So not to be slept on completely, but like I said, maybe need to see another one. Here's Nisi Marie, and I'm just going to chalk this up. She doesn't really have any high level graded stakes experience. Some good grade three, grade two runs here, and then did get this grade three. And no joke beating White Beam, but we'll see what happens with White Beam this weekend in the other turf race. So next up, Be Your Best. Second to last in prime power. I'm not really going to get into that. I'm kind of not looking for any horses that haven't even run a 90 speed rating. Recently, she does have a 94, but that was back in August of 23 at Del Mar. So, sometimes at other like Didia and some of these other horses, if I see good results at Santa Anita, they're coastal tracks, Gulfstream coastal track. That's what I consider coastal tracks. So just maybe just a different turf, up northeast instead of southwest and southeast. Just a hunch of mine. Sparkle Blue does close well, and I do like that. Grand Motion is an excellent turf trainer on the female side too. Huge closing effort in the Modesty. Rallied up for second there. I like that. Then this one was the one that I mentioned, the odd one. Look, you can see how slow the pace is, 52 for the half mile. She just went to the lead because I guess nobody else wanted it, and then just walked the dog. I mean, 141, 117 for the 3/4. That's just really not a very fast pace for Tampa Bay. And I think that's kind of the thing with Tampa Bay is that they don't seem to be getting a lot of fast-paced races. You can see the previous one was even about the same as well, too, the Endeavor, grade 3 there. So, Warlike Goddess. You can see this one. You saw, well, this one's got a couple of 1 or 2 100s. That one's got 1 or 2 100s. This one doesn't have any. There's 3 100s out of Fev. And then you get down here to this one. And now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 107. And that was the BC Turf back in 22. So, this horse is a veteran competitor. So I don't think there's going to be any problem. Belmont's going to have her ready. 23%, 90 plus days away. So that's probably going to be my top choice. And I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of interest in the rest of these. Star Fortress was pretty good in that Sheep's Bay, got up for second. That would be the only one that I might have a little bit of interest in. But Jenny Wiley was eighth. So, that's she faced two rivals in this race, beaten by several here. So last year in the Glen Falls, though, this was kind of interesting to me. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I done skipped past what I was going to do. This is what I wanted to point out real quick. Glen Falls last year at Saratoga was beaten by McCulloch. So that's why I kind of have some interest in McCulloch, because she's done it before, but she just couldn't catch. Warlike Goddess just couldn't catch up. You could see the slow -23 opening quarter was 50. So she just wasn't able to catch up, but she did catch him by the straightaway, and just McCulloch just had too much horse left. So we're going to need to see just a little bit faster pace for some of these closers. Royalty Interest, I don't think I'll have any. Did win that Sheep's Bay and does come off back-to-backs. 93 is pretty good. That was first off a mini layoff here. And I guess it is the highest last speed rating. It is Chad Brown, so you can't really completely dismiss that one. Surprisingly, I don't think so. That's the 13, but that's your past performances. And I'm going to really try to finalize some selections, but I'm going to be spreading deep here, so be prepared. Okay. So anything can happen on the Saratoga turf, I think, and especially in a huge field, a little bit softer conditions anticipated. I don't know that I'm going to be betting either one of those favorites, whether it's English Rose or Warlike Goddess. If they get below 2-1, if they're like 6-5 or 8-5, I don't know if that's very good value in a big field like this, because I don't know that they're not unbeatable, obviously, or they'd be undefeated. So I do think if the pace is more like 50 and above, English Rose could be out front and be very, very difficult to catch. McCulloch will be there too, I think. And if it's slower pace, she's going to be very tough to catch, because she can go 1.5 miles, no problem. So we're just going 1 mile and 3/16 here. Other horses like American Sonia and Aspen Grove, I have a lot of interest in. Sparkle Blue, probably a long shot, but I'd like to use underneath, because I want some prices in this one. So tough to leave out Fev Rover, because she has proven that she can fire off the layoff, but it is against a tougher field this time around. And I didn't list Dadia, but I think after I repeated my statement that she's only been off the board 3 times in 16 starts, that's kind of difficult. So you may want to just throw her in underneath somewhere, second or third, or just, click the all button on the last one if you want to go super huge. It's going to be an expensive race. Any kind of pick, if you're doing like a pick 5 or whatever, this race is going to be spread all the way across. Or you could just take a stand and say Warlike Goddess and single her. I don't know. It's just this is going to be a really, really fun race to watch Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you are too, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Should be more to come. So stay tuned, and until then, see you soon.